Hello, and welcome to Jihad and the World, a podcast that examines the crossroads of Western and Islamic civilizations. In today's episode, we look at the Swedish celebrity activist Thunberg, whom we feature in our upcoming book, Cauldron of Terror, Hamas, Israel, and the World, 500 Days in Gaza. The episode is titled Greta, the Swedish Nightingale. How have Ms. Thunberg's activist energies, or Greta's as she is known worldwide, been channeled to the Middle East? Who listens to her voice, and has that voice made a difference in world opinion and among national decision-makers? First, who is this famous Greta of Sweden? Born in 2003, Greta Tintin, Eleonora, Ernman Thunberg soared to international fame in 2018, at age 15, when she organized a school strike in front of the Swedish parliament to protest, among other issues, climate change. She accused the West of indifference to environmental and humanitarian concerns. By her account, her passion for activism was initially sparked by school walkouts in the United States, following the mass shooting in Parkland, Florida. She certainly gained the attention she sought. Time magazine named her Person of the Year for 2019, making her the youngest recipient of that title. Among the many honors bestowed on her is the naming of a species of beetle, Neloptodes gretae. She has spoken around the world and before the United Nations. She earned these and myriad other honors despite significant childhood disabilities. At age 11, she was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and selective mutism. She has been open and candid about these challenges, particularly her Asperger's. All this has earned her a legion of admirers. In February 2019, 224 academics signed an open letter of support, stating that they were inspired by Thunberg's actions and by the schoolchildren who went on strike to demand social justice. Thunberg's influence is sometimes called the Greta effect. It certainly increased public awareness of climate change. And her views on the Middle East, they are very clear. She despises Israel and took her cause and herself to the high seas, in solidarity with Palestine. She and other social justice activists sailed on the global Sumud, Arabic for steadfastness, flotilla in September 2025 to break Israel's blockade of supplies into Gaza. It began with quite a fleet of 50 boats setting sail from Barcelona. It was quite an adventure, and Greta claimed that her craft was harassed by an unidentified drone. There is no evidence that this occurred. When she and her crew crossed into Israeli waters, they were intercepted by the Israeli Navy. They were not given a particularly warm reception, but neither are there any confirmed reports of abuse. Israel's foreign ministry filmed the event, and footage proved that Greta and others were handed water and a life jacket. Greta was also given a turkey sandwich. Announced an Israeli spokesman, Greta and her friends are safe and healthy. But there was a very serious moment in this nautical drama. The Israelis wanted the passengers and crew to watch a 43-minute movie consisting almost entirely of videos taken by Hamas members on October 7, 2023, showing them raping, mutilating, and murdering Israelis. However, Greta Thunberg and her pro-Hamas collaborators refused to watch the movie. So, what did the world think of all this? There was divided opinion. A Hezbollah-affiliated media outlet hailed her heroism and lamented the perceived attacks on her character. The article read,
Greta, who was once applauded at the United Nations, is now insulted, arrested, and forced to kiss the Israeli occupation's flag. The West, which sanctified her as a symbol of the new moral consciousness, found itself facing a mirror exposing its hypocrisy.
The article underscored Thunberg's statement, "No climate justice without human justice." However, other observers slammed the flotilla as yet another publicity stunt. They accused her of skippering a selfie yacht. The food the flotilla brought amounted to less than a truckload, compared with the 11 million meals Israel provided to Gazans in the 2 weeks before. Senator Lindsey Graham snickered about Greta's intent to break the blockade, saying, "Hope you can swim." Other comments were more shrill. Journalist Christine Douglas Williams opined,
Greta Thunberg's trip to Gaza is more leftist idiocy and an exhibit of the left's alliance with Islam. Even prior to October 7th, Greta Thunberg was posting pro-jihad and anti-Israel propaganda on X. Her distribution of this propaganda only intensified following October 7th.
And more barbs followed on social media. Mike wrote,
Yes, she has become a pathetic little demented dwarf. She's gonna spend the rest of her sad life skating by on her virtue-signaling glory days as a leftist environmentalist.
David M. agreed.
If the globalists decided to roll out a teenage Swedish girl as their spokesperson, they could have chosen a good-looking, typical Swedish blonde girl, not a nasty little midget with self-professed mental disorders. Maybe they approached all the normal Swedish girls and none of them were stupid enough to do it.
And the comments get worse. Well, it's clear that Greta has both admirers and detractors. Did she boost the plight of the Palestinians? The food was of no consequence. Did the publicity help? We at Kensington have no evidence of that. Much of the world is tired of Greta. Most see her, at best, as a pathetic figure who has become increasingly bitter. It is unlikely that many people wish her harm, but it is likely that many would like her to seek psychological help, pause her activism, and reflect on her behavior. That is the way we at Kensington see it. This concludes this episode of Jihad and the World. Greta's profile appears in our upcoming book, Cauldron of Terror, Hamas, Israel, and the World, 500 Days in Gaza, which will be available in summer 2026. Nothing in this or any other Kensington podcast represents the official view of the United States government. Until our next podcast, goodbye, and thank you for listening.